Hey guys, welcome to another VEDA. As you know, it's April, so that means it's Vlog Everyday April time. And if you've been following my vlogs this month, so far I've been talking about comics. I've been doing reviews of comics and been doing reviews of some of my favorite comics. I'm going to get to some ones that I don't necessarily like. And this week I've been on a theme of Ultimate Spider-Man, and you're probably saying to yourself, but you did Ultimate Spider-Man 160 yesterday. You said that was the end of it. That was the end of the first part of it. The first two volumes of Ultimate Spider-Man, the end of Peter Parker's tale on Ultimate Spider-Man. They follow that up with what I consider to be Volume 3, Ultimate Comics Spider-Man. This is issue number 1. And you're probably wondering, how do they continue without Ultimate Spider-Man, without Ultimate Peter Parker? Very simple, they continue without Peter Parker. They've introduced a new kid in the series, and this series is still going now, so you can probably find a lot of these issues if you're very sleuthy, and then there's a couple new trades out where you can catch up on this stuff. They've introduced a new character called Miles Morales, who, in the wake of Peter Parker's death, was inspired by his example, and actually fell under a very similar series of circumstances that allowed him to also be imbued with spider-like powers. Although his work a little differently. It's kind of interesting. The first issue centers mainly around introducing Miles and his family. It seems that they're really hoping that he's going to get into a good school. Unfortunately, the area that they're in they're not in a great area for schools, and they're limited to the school that they're hoping to get him into is limited, and they can only get in via lottery. So, by fortunate happenstance, he does actually end up getting into this school, and his parents kind of feel great about it, and they think this is going to be a good opportunity for him, but the parents' doting kind of makes him feel a little overwhelmed, and he decides to go visit his uncle, who is Ultimate Prowler. So if you don't know anything about Spider-Man villains, there's a lesser-known villain. I mean, he's around, and if you know your comics history, Prowler's somewhat famous, but not one of the central Spider-Man villains. Basically, he's a villain who becomes an anti-hero, and within the Ultimate Universe, he's Miles Morales' uncle, who breaks into a rundown Osborn Industries and discovers that, well, doesn't discover, he accidentally brings home another experimental spider in the same experiment that gave Peter Parker, I'm having a hard time talking tonight, gave Peter Parker his spider powers. And when Miles goes over to his uncle's house to kind of unwind and kind of dish about his family's obsession with him getting into a good school, he's accidentally bitten. Well, his dad decides that he's going to confront the uncle about letting the boy over when the dad's well aware of his uncle's history, confronts him, yells at him, yada yada. The kid runs out, and the issue ends with poor Miles discovering that he seems to have some sort of cloaking ability. I'm not sure what to call it. Basically, he turns invisible and blends in with his background, which I wasn't aware there was a spider power. I thought that was more of a lizard power, but hey, what do I know? I'm not an arachnid expert. So the series continues from there about Miles' adventures and all the shenanigans he gets into. There's a lot more with the uncle, and then they introduced a few other villains, and he kind of comes across a couple more familiar villains. I'm not actually up to date on everything that's going on, but I've got all the issues, and I've been collecting them since. I just haven't read them all, and I know that there is a connection to they're either still going on or finished a Venom storyline. I'm not really sure what's happening with that, but it does seem to be sort of popular enough that it's still going on, but from word of mouth of comic fans I've heard of, they haven't been terribly pleased with it. I'm not necessarily the most pleased with it either, mostly because there was something special about Ultimate Peter Parker and Ultimate Peter Parker's circle of friends and the world that he kind of encompassed. And while some of that still kind of has effect, it's not nearly as present in this series because they're really trying to branch off and start something new, and introduce the whole purpose of the Ultimate Comics line was to, not the Ultimate line, but when they revamped the entire thing, they wanted to start telling new stories with new characters and differentiate it from the regular Marvel universe. And that's kind of what they're doing here, is trying to create somebody new and doing something different. And while it still connects, because you can't separate the history, it's not nearly as good as far as I'm concerned. Some of the later issues might be more redeeming. I don't know. I haven't got there yet. But from what I have read, I've not been terribly impressed. Who knows? Someday I'll get to it. I mean, I bought the issue, so I'm going to read it at some point, but probably not today. So that'll do it for my review for Ultimate Comics Spider-Man. I'm going to continue this trend with another connecting series, and one that I was really looking forward to, and I'll let you know how I feel about it tomorrow. So come back and enjoy that, and to everybody who's vlogging, good luck. I've been watching some of you guys. You've been doing really well. I like a lot of the vlogs that I've seen. It's really hard to keep interesting for a few minutes every day, but I'm doing my best, and some other people are a little more entertaining than me, but quite fun. You can find them out there. It's not hard to find VEDA people. There is a Facebook group called VEDA Challenge if you want to find more people like me. I know Errol's doing it, and I know Dan the Video Ninja's doing it. He gave me a good shout out the other day. And Dan and Amanda's friend, My Cherie's doing it, and their other friend, Connell, also known as Dr. Holocaust, who is a really funny guy. Check out all of his videos because he's just generally funny, but he's doing VEDA again, and it's entertaining to watch him. So just check them out. It's quite entertaining. And come back tomorrow, and I'm going to have more comics for you. And next week, I'm going to start a different series and let you guys know. It's still going to be comics, but it's going to be another franchise, another ongoing or somewhat related series that, I think is interesting. I think you guys should either check out, or, if I don't like it, I don't think you should check it out. But come back and see more. Bye, guys.